And I'll just ask you quickly about your WWE appearances, because I know you've said it before that for a while you were actually going to have the role that Owen ultimately had as the evil Hart, but it didn't
I know
work
I went
out.
down there and we shot some angle or did the initial thing in Detroit at Auburn Hills where the Pistons played, where I was supposed to be sitting in the audience and Doink the Clown was gonna come out and throw the bucket of water on me. And then later on when they double teamed Brett Lawler and Doink, Matt Bourne, I was supposed to then hit the ring and have like a four-way, and that was supposed to ultimately lead to shooting some kind of an angle with Jerry and Matt Bourne or Doink for Survivor Series. And that's pretty much what we did. And then I got like rave reviews at the time. Everyone was saying, wow, that was the hottest thing on the whole SummerSlam card and all like that. And then I thought that was going to happen. And then it got all kind of screwed up, and in part because Matt Bourne got busted for something, and Lawler had some incident with some groupie in Louisville or something like that. But beyond that, I'm not sure if it was Brett or whatever, but I was supposed to be the one who was initially going to do this kind of half heel turn. It was kind of half-assed, to be quite honest. I thought the whole thing was a bit convoluted, but it should have been supposed to be the Hart family, which is Brett and Owen, me and Keith against, at that time, it was supposed to be Lawler's family. Then Lawler was taken out of it. Shawn Michaels was in it then, and I think Greg Valentine.
Some guy named Jeff Gaylord too. Is that his real name?
Oh, I think Lawler and Doink were supposed to be the other two, and they ended up putting Jeff Gaylord and Barry Horowitz. And then they had the thing with Owen turning heel and all. And Owen was an awesome worker. I always thought he was never, really well suited to be playing a whiny little heel like they had him. It was really miscast him. Anyone who ever saw him in Calgary knew he was a phenomenal baby face. In fact, had a lot more charisma and athletic ability than Brett. And he was way more suited to being a face than Brett was.
After all the hell Brett put your family through and you and Stu through after the Survivor Series incident, and there was a lot of tension with the family, and I know you had problems trying to bring Stu to Raw and stuff. Are you surprised that Brett ultimately rejoined the company?
Not really. It's complicated. I've made peace more or less with Brett, and I tried to see it from both sides, and I've been pretty outspoken in anything I've ever said about, that Montreal screw job and all. The two wrongs don't make a right, that Vince certainly didn't have honorable intentions, or he didn't distinguish himself in any positive way whatsoever in perpetrating an abortion like that. But at the same time, Brett, given what the business is, and it's obligatory when you're leaving a territory to drop the strap and all that other, Brett didn't really distinguish himself either. So I'd still say that right now, to either one of them, that ultimately the business, came out looking bad needlessly because of their, sort of agendas and all like that. So.
Do you think it was a good thing what they did with you guys at WrestleMania recently when they brought you in and Brett and the whole family?
I gave them, I told them it's whatever you guys want to do. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business. I remember when Michael Hayes and those guys ran the finish by us at that time and said, what do you think? And I said, quite frankly, I think it sucks. I said, you got about 10 Harts. My nephew Harry and Tyson Kid and Natalya and Keith and me and Ross and Smith and Wayne and whoever. I said, we're the baby faces and we're beating, and he got me as the referee, and were the faces and were beating the crap out of a 70-year-old non-wrestler, and we're supposed to be the faces. I said, you guys do what you want. I'm at your disposal, you know. But I said, I think it would have made a lot more sense if, you know, maybe you guys get some sympathy on Brett and build it up to, you know, some kind of a climax and go home. I said, I don't think you need the whole Hart family out here aiding and abetting the best there is, you know.
Right.
And I still felt that way, you know. And, I don't know what the point of that whole thing was. It didn't really result in any spin-off or anything like that when it could have and maybe should have, you know. But,
And what do you think of Tyson Kid's injury that he suffered recently?
it's too bad. It's in a microcosm. It's sort of reflective of some of the insanity of this wrestling business. Too many guys getting hurt, doing stuff that, you know, need not be done, you know. You know, you've been down in the dungeon, you've been around. You know, a big part of the whole thing is protecting each other and kind of endeavoring to avoid injuries and not being careless. And so it's too bad. It's, I guess, a bonus that he's not paralyzed, but it's a shame that his career's ended because of it, you know.
Are you happy for Natalya being one of her main, pretty much her main trainer before she went to WWE on her success?
Yeah, I'm glad she's had some success. I think the whole Divas thing's, I'm not sure if they know what the hell they're doing or they're coming or going. They're not sure if they want to be athletes or glorified strippers or what the hell, you know. I think, frankly, my own estimation, divas and dwarfs should be used once in a while. Not every damn card. They used to be a novelty, and I think if you're endeavoring to make people take them seriously, focus less on the tits and ass and more on the wrestling, less on the high spots, more on the wrestling, you know, and I think that goes for the whole business where there's too much emphasis on high spots and gimmicks and talking on the mic, and you need to go back to middle of the road in order to reestablish the fan base, which is a big reason why UFC has succeeded, if only because people are allowed to buy into the notion that it might be a shooter for real, you know, and wrestling shouldn't be losing sight of that.